Howdy and welcome back from the Texas Traveler. Ladies and gentlemen, I sure do appreciate y'all following me in this build. We're going to get started on the wing today. We have the right wing laid out in front of us, the right wing half laid out in front here on the building table. My filming is going to be kind of off today because I am in a new space. I don't have the room I had in my garage, but we'll make do with that and continue on in our build here of the wings. We're going to start out. This is a constant chord wing, and when you say constant chord, it means all the ribs are the same size. It's going to be the wing's going to be the same size here as it here is at the end. We're going to start with the bottom of the wing and the sheeting that goes on the bottom of the wing, and we're going to get that pinned in place, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to start with the trailing edge sheeting and get that in place and pinned down, and then we'll start actually doing some gluing with the sheeting that's going to be on the center of the bottom. I have told in previous videos that this is set up for an aileron that's down here in the center of the wing that is going to use torque rods to move these ailerons, and it's one servo moves both sides. We're going to skip that, and we're going to be more like a traditional, more like what I'm used to when you get up on 60 size and larger airplanes. We're going to mount the servos out in the wing, and we'll get to that. I don't know, probably on down, but I'm right before I get ready to cover. Right before I get ready to do final sanding and covering on this. But anyway, I'm going to get out some T-pins here, and I'll reach over here in my handy dandy Bossy USA build caddy and get out my T-pin holder. And I hate to put it right here because, man, these things tend to go everywhere, and I don't really like having to reach across y'all, or y'all can see my bald head. I'm not wearing a hat this evening, which is totally unlike me. But anywho, we're going to start up here with the wing sheeting up here, and we want to get this. Actually, I'm going to start from this end because I want a place that I can trim this from. And we want to make sure that we are exactly lined up with the end here. We're all square, and I'm going to put a T-pin in right there. Now, if you noticed, I put this T-pin in at an angle instead of straight in. Sometimes on the sheeting, if you put it straight in, it'll have a tendency to maybe lift up one edge. I want to make sure this is flat. And like I said, all my extra space, all my overhang is down here on this end, which is the wingtip end. And I'm going to put this one in at an angle, and it's just going to be on the opposite side there. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a straight edge here, having to deal with some stuff outside of my building area, and really this straight edge, we're just making sure that we're going to pull everything back. If this got any bows in it, I just like to put a little bit of pressure just to make this sure, just to make sure that this side is flat. The way this works, there's going to be the leading edge is actually going to go on top of the sheeting up here, and we're going to trim off some anyway, so it's just making sure this is going to be flat. I'm going to put some pressure back against this straight edge. You don't want to cause it to bow on its own, but you do want to get this pinned down nice and good. If you notice, I lean this way and then I lean that way, and now I'll lean back this way, And just kind of go down this. I think a couple more and we'll be good with this. Go in here. And I probably have messed some of this up because I really don't want them to be on top of where I'm going to be gluing ribs here in a little bit. So I'm going to try to avoid that if possible, and I'm going to put this one in here. There we go. And so far so good, man. The building board's really holding this stuff down good. Now we're going to come and kind of do the same thing down here with the trailing edge sheeting. I'm going to start on this end again. And I want this over where the SPAR is going to be. Get it all nice and lined up with this edge. I'll put that in there. Make sure that it's where it's supposed to be on the plans. That's one nice thing about building over plans, is that if the plans are still in good shape and all that, you get a good look at what everything's going to be like. So I'm going to take my straight edge, and now I'm going to put this, make sure everything is squared up, and I'm going to do kind of the same thing with it. Just going to go through here. Put these down. I know some of y'all will say that me doing these T-pins at an angle is overkill and all that, and you know, especially when you're doing a wing, you're like, oh, this isn't going to make a difference or something like that. And man, every little thing that you could do wrong on a wing is really this is what creates lift. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So we just need to be extra careful and try not to build things into this wing that aren't needed. I'm not really worried about this wing warping or anything like that. And even if it does a little bit, there's ways around that to get it out. But now we're just going to get started with a little sheeting up here. Nice thing about this kit is it's got all this stuff pre-cut. The sheeting's going to go. The sheeting's going to go in right here. And man, I don't even have to really even worry about this that much because of the way this is, just the way it comes. We're just going to, probably could have done this without putting some T-pins in it, but again, I would rather be safe. Once we put this on, we're not going to be able to see our ribs here. And I mean, we know where our root rib is going to be down here, but there's 4 ribs that are underneath this sheeting. So let's take up what I put down here. You know, I don't feel like I'm in that big of a hurry today, but there's always, like I said just a little while ago, you make mistakes if you're not paying attention. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find the center of these and kind of mark them. Let's see here. There, right there. Okay, so we've marked the position of each of our ribs on here, so we're going to put the sheeting back in here now and make sure we get it all lined up nice and square there. Doesn't have to be like perfectly square, but it's nice for it to be close. I'm going to turn this over, see if I can get a better square like that. Yeah, that's better like that. Sometimes this boss kind of has a lay to it. my T-pin got kind of lost underneath here. All right. I'll put one more T-pin right here in the middle. Just trying to keep everything flat and nice. So I'm just going to come along here with some thin CA. Just be careful. You'll notice I'm using this little end that came with these SPAR Bond bottles. I really am impressed with everything that comes in the package of SPAR Bond. It is really, they give you extra nozzles, they give you these little pipettes or whatever you want to cut. It's not a pipette, because that would, you'd be pulling that up with like a bulb on a syringe or something. But man, they really are nice with what they give you to work with. You know, one of my complaints back in the old days was you were always recutting the tips of your CA bottles, and you never like fully used the full CA bottle because you messed it up and gummed it up to the point towards the end that you know, you're letting too much air in, and it just wasn't it wasn't good anymore. So you wind up buying more CA, and especially now this stuff is expensive. So I want to avoid that at all costs. Square up these ends again. Yeah, it's really nice how much, how you can control exactly how much CA comes out of this. I reference so much of my stuff back to the old days where a lot of times we just have a dang glue mess on our hands. And man, I can really just lay down a small bead and be good with it. Yep, that's looking pretty good, folks. I'm just going to give that a second to dry. It doesn't take that thin CA long. And if you notice, we've got a gap down here that we're going to have to cut some of this for, some of the sheeting that they give us. We're going to cut a little bit off there. Wasn't the best cut in the world, but definitely got some stuff we can work with here. Try to straighten this up just a little bit more. I got a little hump here with where my straight edge slipped. There we go. Now that's something we can probably work with right there. And we're just a little short from this slipping in. We're good on this end, but right about here. Oh, maybe not. Oh, she's going to slip in there. I really can't believe that. This balsa is so soft, it probably just compressed. a little sticky stick with my finger. You're not gluing with CA unless you stuck yourself to something. Now, where this joins up back here, I'm just going to put a little tack right there for right now. Trying not to stick my finger down. Trying to tack this end. I think that's tacked up, and then I'm going to tack this end. Alright, and I'm just going to come along this whole place where these two pieces of sheeting come together. Just going to fill that in with thin CA. There we go. So there we've got all the bottom sheeting done. We are going to go back through here now, and this kit was supposed to come with pre-cut cap strips, but it did not. So definitely going to have to cut our own cap strips. That's fine. I bought the material that the building article calls for. The instructions call for, that is, and got that from Boss USA. They were extremely quick getting back to me. I'm glad that I went and did that instead of getting in the middle of this build and be like, oh, gotta stop filming. But anyway, I made sure that got enough material, and probably start down here on this end. And I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife, make sure that that's all lined up there, because I don't want to cut it crooked. And I'm just going to feel back here for where this starts, and then just try to draw a straight line. We can always sand it a little bit if it comes in a little bit too long. But I think the way that laid in up there, this is probably going to come in just right. Just right. I mean, I've got a little tension between this wood, but I don't see it bowing up the cap strip material at all. Might put a little T-pin for the time being, like right here in the middle, just to kind of keep it on line and square it up. And we'll just hit this right up here with a little thin, and we'll hit this back here with a little thin. All right, one cap strip down. How about that? Go ahead and I'll square it up with this one. Square it up with this one. Stab ourselves in the thumb. There we go. I'm going to feel back here for this boss at the end, and then I'm just going to roll over real gently. I'm going to just cut through here. There we go. And this one's going to take just a little bit of sanding. Reach up here. Hope I didn't just sand too much. Oh, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. There we go. We'll just keep CA there. Some CA there. Give that a second to set up. While I'm talking about that, if you look at some of the sheeting, there's little dings and holes and stuff like that, whenever possible, look at both sides of your sheeting. Put the best side out on the outside of your plane. That way you're not having to come back with wood filler, or using tricks like using a heat gun, seeing if you can get these dents and bangs out. Be real careful choosing your wood, especially for such a large surface like that. Choosing what side you're going to use, because the better that wood is on the outside, the easier it's going to be to finish, sand, and cover. So as you can see, and of course if I wasn't filming this, it would have taken, I don't know, it wouldn't have taken as long, because I would have just breezed through it and not had to explain anything, which I probably didn't explain some of the things I needed to explain, but we're all learning on this. So I've got all of the cap strips down. We've got a SPAR right here that's going to go across the wing right. Yeah, I'm going to have to move a couple of these T-pins. This one's going to be in the way. So let's move it up here. I do still want to keep this down. And this T-pin's going to be in the way. So we'll move this up here. Knowing where the center of your ribs is going to be, well, this SPAR is going to lay right on top of some of my marks. So I'm going to transfer those marks over to the cap strips and the sheeting down here, so I can keep that together. So we got this one down here, is right here on the end. Right. We'll come down in the middle of this one. Here we go, just extend those. And guys, you want your ends need to be perfect, and of course if you get all wavy like this, it's going to show up through your covering and that you're all over the place. But this isn't, we're not laying anything out, at least not here, with a micrometer or anything like that. So do we want to be accurate? Yes, we want to be accurate. Do we have to be just dead on all the time? No. And actually here where you've got two ribs, this rib right here is more important than the rest of them, because it's what the wing joiner is going to butt up against. Alright, so we're going to go with this again, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I've got my slow CA, as it's called in the instructions. I think that's probably thick, and I'm just going to run well, if I can get it started coming out. I've used so much of this thick that it takes just a second to come out there. But anywho, let's see here if we can't get this little bead started. And you don't have to go crazy with this. Sorry about that. You don't have to go crazy with this. Just a little bead will do. This stuff will sandwich out once you put it on there. Try to keep it in the center so you don't make a big mess. Don't put a big old glide bead. You want to look at it and say, hey, this bead is going to be just enough from the center to kind of sandwich out on both sides. This is going to take a little while to set up. Like I said, it's supposed to be slow CA. If you make a big glob like I did, just sitting there talking, smooth that out and go ahead and get it sandwiched out so you don't make a big mess. That's the one downside of this CA. Yes, it's fast and it allows you to build fast, but man, it can turn these things into an absolute mess. So I'm going to stand up here so I can look over the plans. I'm going to turn this SPAR over to the CA side, and I'm going to get this right on the trailing edge of the sheeting. I'm going to butt it up on this end and make sure we're there. I'm going to take a T-pin right here and I'm gonna put this T-pin right there just to kind of join that in. And we'll kind of make teepees over this to act as like a, this stuff is wanted to set up quick. So I don't have a lot of time to tell you folks how I set this up, but we're gonna make just a little, T-pin teepee here to lock this in place. And that's not all we're gonna do with it. We're also going to be putting some weights on this, because this SPAR is probably one of the most important things on this wing. Man, if this thing isn't put down and laid down almost exactly on here, your spars are where you can really come up with some wing warpage. Just making a little teepee right over there. And then I'm going to come back with my 3-in-1 blocks, Chris, and put those there. And we'll let that cure for a minute. It shouldn't take all that long. Kind of gives you a chance to look down here, and I'm a little off in areas, but it isn't, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to, it'll mean that there's a little bit more sanding in some areas when you're doing the leading edge and trailing edge, getting those all straight. It looks pretty good and locked in. I think I'm through with my thick CA for now. I'm going to make sure that I clear this nozzle with air. And I'm going to put the cap back on and put it up in my Bossy USA build caddy. Take these 3-in-1 blocks off now. Make sure we don't have any spots that really raise up, which you shouldn't, with my T-pins holding this thing down. And now we are looking at putting our ribs on, getting those down. These were all die crunched, but they should fit on here. Oh yeah, that's fitting like a boss right there. Except this one down here on the end is going to be a little different. It's going to have some an angle built into it that is going to be for our dihedral, because that's the one on down here on this end. This is the inboard side, so it'll be glued to the other wing half right here on this rib. Yes, there's not enough strength for just a balsa rib to a balsa rib, but what we can do is we're going to fiberglass outside of this wing, the sheeting up here, and that's going to add all the rigidity in the center we need. And it looks like this battery is done. So this is actually the day after I started. Yesterday I had started this, my battery on my camera ran out, and I got busy doing some other things. So we're going to start today with the gluing the ribs onto this right wing half. The kit comes with a dihedral gauge, which helps you set the angle of this root rib, and then you can also use the other side of this for the rest of the ribs, just trying to get them to line up. But I'm going to use a square to do that, not this little thing. But anyway, we're going to move down here. We're just going to bring this right up to the edge. Right up to the edge of this. And then we're just going to lay a tack right there. I'm going to kind of press this down. It's there. Let that take. We're going to move up just a little bit. We're going to lay a Another little bead right there. We'll move up to here. Little bead right across there. Now you can really feel it start to lock in place. Excuse me. You can really now feel it start to lock in place as a solid rib. Alright, that thing feels pretty solid now. Looks good all the way down. Then we'll just come back with this thin CA and just run a small bead all the way down this rib. All the way down. Right here on the there. We'll put some right down through there. I'll run this bead all the way up to the front. Let that set. And that's probably the hardest one to do. And I don't know how my voice is coming through on here. It's not that strong today, but that one right there is that's the one that's a pain in the butt. The rest of these should fall in pretty easily. There we go. Kind of the same as we did the first one. Just laying down some tacks as we go down here. Sorry for my shaking hands. That's just something I have to deal with. Come back now and do the same that we did on the root rib. We're just going to run a bead all the way down it after we got it all tacked up and in place. Same thing. And we're just going to walk these ribs straight down like this. I really don't think you guys need to see me glue each rib into here. It's now that we've got one up that's square, the rest of them are going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to get all these ribs installed and then I'll get back with you guys. So I'm back. As you can see, we've got all the ribs installed. We're going to put another spar here on the top, and I'm probably going to call it a night from there because I'm going to put some weights on it, and I just want I want that to be able to sit under the weights. That way we can make sure that we don't build in any bows or anything like that. We're treating these spars to make sure that they are absolutely flat. You might even want to look at your spars before you do anything and see if they've got any, if they're out of true. You can usually put them in to where the bow will work in your favor to help push things down. So anyway, we're going to take this spar right here. Start just working it. Just working it down in these grooves. Make sure coming all the way down, has some overhang. Make sure they're in there nice and tight. if it's pretty much flush with this end. So you don't have to do a lot of sanding to true that up down there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some weights on here. There we go. Trying to get these equally spaced apart, I guess. Let's see here, I got 2 wing rib bays. We're going to put this one here. Oh. Yeah, we'll put this one here. 3 rib bays. And then here right before the sheeting. And then here. And with those in place, we're just going to go ahead and take our thin CA and glue that in. And that'll be the end of this part of the wing build. I'm going to let this set overnight, so I'm just going to go ahead and edit this video and publish it, and then we'll move on to putting the leading edge and the trailing edge on here, which are also pieces that I'll let sit overnight under weights, because that's all stuff that's going to be flat on the surface that, you know, we can make sure that we don't build any bow. Not that you can't get a little bow out of a wing, but man, if you can keep from doing it and keep it as flat as possible, especially with a flat bottom wing like this, there's no reason you can't keep it as flat as possible. But you do that, and it just make it easier when you're getting this thing ready to fly at the end. So anyway, we're just gonna put some glue in here. Oops. We're gonna glue this in here. Glue this one in. That in, and I'm just going to work all the way down here putting glue on these spars, and we'll catch you next time. I sure do appreciate everybody that's watching my videos. It means a lot to me, and like I said before, I hate doing it, and I just can't. It's hard for me to bring myself to ask people to subscribe, but I'm not looking to make any money off this channel, so we're just going to let that be for now. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen over 40. Get your PSA checked. Trust me. I mean, it's something that if you really want to avoid some really rough, horrible stuff, go ahead and get that checked. Hope y'all have a good evening.